Hi friends, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am on the floor again because I just want to have a casual chat, a cozy chat with you guys today. I need to vent because I think I just found my newest favorite Hermione fanfiction author. I binge read this author, all three of their available work on AO3 right now in a matter of 6 days, and mind you, like one of their work is more than 200,000 words long. So I feel the need to just rave to you guys about them and convince you guys to read all those work as well, because I can tell that they are coming into my top favorite Hermione author list, not without any reason, okay? In today's video, we are going to talk about Lady Midnight 87 and all three of her work that are currently available for you to read today. The first work that we are going to talk about is The Fear of Letting Go. This is the first work that I read from her. It is a novel-length Hermione story post-war. The second work is kind of like an epilogue or a follow-up work to The Fear of Letting Go, which is called Anema Gemella, and the focus of this story is on a side pairing that we have in The Fear of Letting Go. And then the third work that I read from this author is a one-shot PWP Hermione that is called Amortentia. Now, of course, we are going to start with The Fear of Letting Go first, because this is the first work that I have read from Lady Midnight 87, and also it is kind of like the start of my Lady Midnight 87 obsessions, okay? So we're going to talk about her first. This story is a post-war story that takes place almost immediately after the war. We have a comatose Draco. He has been in a coma since the Battle of Hogwarts because somebody decided to jump in front of Bellatrix Lestrange wand to take a curse which saved Hermione Granger's life. Hermione, who recently went through a great deal of trauma that is entirely separated from the war, spent every waking minute of her day beside his bed reading him bedtime story because she doesn't feel safe anywhere else except beside his bed. They are kind of faced with the decisions. This is where the story started for us, because when Draco wakes up and doesn't have anywhere to go, Hermione decided to take him home with her. As you guys can tell, the story has already begun in that little synopsis, okay? But before we get any further into the discussion, I do want to say that this story features a more realistic journey to healing post-war for all of these young adults. So it does discuss a darker theme of things in this story, which means that the story comes with a long list of trigger warnings. So please be aware of those. Please check them out and keep them in mind while you start reading the story or even continue watching my video. But if you guys are still here and you guys want to know a little bit more about The Fear of Letting Go, I would break down The Fear of Letting Go review into kind of like 3 buckets. The first is about author quality of writing for this story, so that includes the writing, the pacing, the plot. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the characters and the development and the growth of them in this story. Third, I'm going to talk about Draco and Hermione, of course, because that's where the money at, right? I'm going to talk about all those details, all the moments, the dialogue, everything that comes with our Draco and Hermione in this story. I'm going to tell you guys all about that as well. Plus, this story is written in Hermione's first-person point of view, and personally, surprisingly, I have never read a story that is in Hermione's first-person point of view before. So even as I started this story, it has already taken a very unique mark in my list, because it is something that I have never experienced before. This story is very beautifully written. You can tell while reading this story that the author has put a lot of work and a lot of effort into polishing their writing, but not to the point where it's hard for you to read. So it's still easy for you to follow, especially if you are a non-native English speaker like myself. Also, the writing is super in character with Hermione. I feel like the writing is very tailored to Hermione being our narrator, and I am just in love with like all of those small details that comes with the good quality of writing in this story. Next, you can tell that this story has a very unique plot. Now, like I say, the plot of this story has already started from the synopsis alone, because I just have so many questions after reading that synopsis. Why did Draco save her life? They don't know each other like that? Why did she spend all day beside his bed? They don't also know each other like that either. Remember jumping right into the story after I finished reading the synopsis, because girl, give me the answers, okay? I feel like I am immediately real into this story already, but as I started reading, I am left more and more curious. Even though it's like a roller coaster, there is something about it that will just keep you reading. Like, it will make you more curious for the next thing that is going to happen. It's like one of the work that once you start, you will not be able to put down, which is why I also finished this work in like a span of 6 or 5 days. That explains seen how engaging or how inviting this was to me. For me personally, this story just have my wholehearted attention, and I cannot drop out this story because I am just too invested, and I was just having such a good time reading this story. And the last aspect of this is the pacing. Now, I think the pacing also ties in with like the quality of the writing and also the plot as well. But for me, this story is perfectly paced because it just keeps you on your toes for the next thing, even though in like the slow part of the story, you will still be wondering, you will still be having questions. So I am just so in love with all of the quality of writing that comes with this story. Now, the second aspect of our review is going to be on the characters. I'm going to start with Draco because I feel like that's where you guys wanted to know the most info, right? I feel like the Draco in The Fear of Letting Go is probably among my favorite Draco that I have ever read. I would even compare him to the Dragon's Bride Draco or 13 Night Draco, and you guys know that the Dragon's Bride and 13 Nights are both of my top favorite Hermione fanfictions ever. I would even go as far as saying that the Draco in The Fear of Letting Go is like the big part of the story, and what makes me fall in love with this story so badly, he is just god tier, okay? On the other hand, Hermione is also super in character in this story as well. If you guys like a Hermione that overanalyzes, that makes bad decisions dealing with things because she doesn't want to ask for help, but like I say, this story is a Hermione's first person point of view story, so you will get to walk that journey of character growth with Hermione through her own eyes. I love Hermione and I'm just so proud of her in this story. Apart from Draco and Hermione, you will see some kind of repeated faces throughout the story as well. Those are Harry Potter's and Blazer Beanies and Theodore Nott. That's an elite lineup, okay? I love Harry Potter in this story, and I feel like he's among one of the best Harry that I have ever read in Hermione fanfiction as well. And I think for me, one of the red flags with Hermione is when author portrayed Harry to be a bad friend, to be somebody who depart from the Harry-Hermione's friendship, not taking care of Hermione post-war. I cannot imagine Harry doing that to Hermione with the bond and the connection that they have over the years that they spent at Hogwarts together. The way that the author portrayed Harry in this story is just chef's kiss, and I would come back and read Harry in this story like many times over. Next, Blazer Beanie. I love Blaze, like that character, the mysterious man that he's always portrayed in Hermione fanfiction, is also carried in this video as well. But the cherry on top, there are quite a few cherry on tops with this Blazer Beanie, but you guys have to read the story to know because I don't want to spoil you guys. Go read the story. And then we have Theo. Theo is Theo. Theo is living and thriving and being the heart of the party. Without Theo, we wouldn't be the Hermione shipper that we are. We have Theo in this story, okay? Next, I'm going to talk about the details, the moments, everything that Draco and Hermione share, and every little things that I love about this story. I think the most perfect way to describe this story for me is that if I ever write down a Hermione wish list with every details, every element, everything that I want to see in a fanfiction, and post it online for others to see and write me stories. The Fear of Letting Go is the manifest of that Hermione wish list for me personally. We have enemy to lovers, we have forced proximity, we have share leaving, we have Amortentia and flashback to 6 years, we have mutual pining, we have Crookshank, Harry, Blazer Beanie, Theodore Nott. We have everything. Oh, the hair thing, the name thing is on glass, and those are also kind of like the details that we Hermione shippers take for ourselves and claim it to be ours. No matter how many times you see them in fanfiction, you will still cherish them the same. Those are all included in The Fear of Letting Go, which is why I am just batshit crazy about this story. I just love it so much because it has everything that I love wholeheartedly. And regularly you would see that Draco is a little bit more taken aback or a little bit more careful, if I can say so, with Hermione, especially early on in their relationship because of everything that he has done or not done, because of the history that they share, because of his action to save her during the final battle of Hogwarts. I feel like the dynamic of their relationship kind of shifts because of that action, which also translates to how Draco treats Hermione in this story, especially early on as well. And so it's just super refreshing for me as a reader to see something new because their timeline is now a little bit different. And usually I am a show don't tell type of girl, so I would prefer to see their soft touches. I want to see, you know, how you hold hands and make my heart weep. And Lady Midnight 87 just gave me a galore in this story. She just give me a potluck of all of those small touches and small details and small moments of Draco and Hermione. But on top of that, she also gave me crazy dialogue that Draco and Hermione share, and between like the other character as well in this story is just to die for. You don't know how many highlights that I put into this. You don't know how many things that I want to screenshot and scream on Instagram story. Things that I never think I would love, but I ended up like falling so hard for in this story, which is why this story will forever be a gem in my heart. Apart from like the romance between Draco and Hermione, which is like one of the golden detail in this story, this is one of the stories that describe the definition of friendship so well. I envy the friendship that Hermione's and Harry share, also Draco and Blaise share, and between Draco's and Harry and Hermione's and Blaise as well. But I just feel like apart from all of that romance and apart from like all the trauma bonding that they do, all the codependency borderline that they do, and I just want to give kudos to Lady Midnight 87 to not only portray such a beautiful romance between Draco and Hermione, but also like such precious friendship moments between all the other characters as well. I hope that convinced you to read The Fear of Letting Go by Lady Midnight 87, because I just feel like this is one of the most well-balanced and engaging and inviting story that I have ever read in a long time. So I was struggling, and then I found The Fear of Letting Go, which kind of puts me into this war, kind of even take me away from reality and put me into this war, and I am just there with Draco, Hermione, Harry and Blaise, like, and I had such a good time reading this story. After I finished this story, I had to immediately go and read Anima Gemella, which is kind of like the epilogue on Harry and Blaise's relationship after The Fear of Letting Go. Their declaration of love is no plain one, okay? Even though it's a short read, it's only about a little bit more than 20,000 words long, I think. It has all the drama, all the flair, and everything that you would associate to Blaise Zabini and Harry Potter in this story. I am just wholeheartedly in love, and I would say that you cannot read The Fear of Letting Go without reading Anima Gemella to feel complete. I needed to know, I needed to immediately read that epilogue in order to feel my heart. So I would say that The Fear of Letting Go and Anima Gemella is kind of like one whole story that you needed to read, finish from start to end. So on the other hand, we just have a one-shot, a PWP one-shot that's called Amortentia. You guys already know how I felt about Amortentia, and I know that I discussed those dramatic details a lot in this video, so if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, I already have a couple of videos out on dramatic details that I love, so I would recommend you guys checking out those videos as well. Amortentia is kind of like a potion for me, because every time I see Amortentia, I will read that story. Usually I don't enjoy PWP, and honestly I enjoy their soft touches in Amortentia by Lady Midnight 87 more than I enjoy the P. But I know that you guys like lemons, you guys like spices, so if you guys just want a quick read and you guys can test the water with Lady Midnight 87 as well for jumping into the big story that is The Fear of Letting Go and Anima Gemella. And so that's kind of wrap up my Lady Midnight 87 vent. Actually, I don't know if this video is going to be helpful to any one of you guys. I think that this story deserves much more hype, and I would even make this story the newest Cool Kids on the Block if I can, if it's up to me, because I am just so in love with this story. Lady Midnight 87 is for sure becoming my auto-read author, and I will be on the lookout for any new thing that they put out. I will see you guys in the next video, okay? In the meantime, you can check out my other recommendations if you would like.